Zing, 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 zing. Zing.
Tito Mboweni, and welcome to the Weekly What Was, a show that's a little news, a lot of entertainment, and the best way to show your Wi-Fi who's boss. I'm your host, Scott Never Die Zulu. At the time of recording this episode, several days had passed since the president announced Advanced Lockdown Level 3, which is not a great name. I mean, he could have called it Lockdown Reloaded, or even Lockdown TDI, or the best, Lockdown 3X Max. Lockdown Level 3 is the further easing of restrictions and reopening of certain sectors of our economy. Despite this fact, hotels, restaurants, and other affected businesses are still waiting for the government to state when and how they can do this. The only doors that have been opened thus far are those of the beauty and self-care industry. It's almost as though the government wants to make sure that everyone gets a chance to sort their hair out before we can go for sit-down dinners. And that's just a good government taking care of its people. Like, my fellow South Africans, we understand that you want to get on with those Tinder dates already, but where are you going looking like this? What kind of first impression are you gonna make? Sheba growth. This is obviously frustrating for the people waiting to get back to work, but even them, they need to look nice. I mean, imagine this person coming to your table again and again to ask if you're still okay. And in other news, the coronavirus. Yeah, guys, it's still a real thing. We seem to have forgotten that the daily infection rate is still on a rise, hitting a record high of 5,000 new cases. It's almost as though corona has been feeling a little bit neglected and wants to regain our attention. I feel like our relationship has changed. You used to check on my numbers every day. Now all you seem to think about is the stupid economy and bloody cigarettes. The world has been trying to find a vaccine for the coronavirus for a while now, and South Africa might just be the new hope, as trials have begun at a medical facility in Soweto. And people are volunteering to be part of these trials, and I just find that absolutely heroic. Listen guys, I love my country, I love the world, and I hope we find a vaccine, but there is no way you can convince me to take an experimental vaccine. Do you understand what a vaccine is in the first place? They're saying, we are going to give you a little bit of a deadly virus, just in case. You can't give me a little bit of corona? Nah, bruh. Now, I know that I'm making it sound a little bit crazy. I mean, vaccines have been working pretty well for hundreds of years, but that is only once they get them working. But this is a trial period, so you don't know if the thing is going to work at all. And in the worst case scenario, you run the risk of health complications resulting in illness, disability, and even death. So I understand why most people, including Scott, would just say, no, ma'am, it's fine. You can give me 0 for this one. So my question is, what is the incentive?
This vaccine is going to work.
The incentive, a bonus, Mhlongo says, not a primary reason for his participation. He reveals he was paid 100 Rand during the screening period, 300 Rand on a second visit, and he will receive another 300 Rand per visit or checkup. Mhlongo tells us he heard about the trials at the hospital where his child is participating in another study.
Watching this video, I can't help but think that this has nothing to do with the money. 300 bucks. That young man can literally make 50 Rand more sitting at home and doing nothing. Now these brave people want to change the world and become a part of history. That's admirable, but I'd argue that there are easier ways to do that. You can sit at home, make an animated internet news satire show, call it the Weekly What What, and hope people are gonna watch. No, it's not the time to plug my show? Cool. And finally, this.
When the tempest is raging, you must protect your plants from damage. Our aloe ferox, like our people, is protected. Mr. President, you have been the most caring farmer looking after our aloe ferox.
That was the budget speech. Our finance minister and the coolest name to say in a rap song, Tito Mboweni, came out and spoke to the country. He said a lot of things, but he left us with a lot of questions like, what the hell did he just say? And what's a tempest? At some point he even said, and I quote, Cabinet, under the leadership and guidance of the president, has found a narrow gate. Government will go through it. This is about the time that our aloe ferox will flower for the first time. As any farmer will tell you, patience and focus are required. Ayini Kazini, why is our Minister of Finance doing bad slam poetry? So as always, to help us break things down, we have a guy who is as useful as a wooden frying pan, but we've seen him press the sin, cause, and tan buttons on a scientific calculator. So, mark everybody! Sorry? What? He tested positive for? Okay. What intern? What's her name? Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, no, everybody!
It's no Nantika Mbokodo. And firstly, I just need to get this off my chest. I've been working on this ragtag production zoo you call a new show for months now, doing all the actual research and writing, earning the opportunity to do the analytics, but no. We've had to suffer that wet noodle of a person called Mark, while someone more qualified is being sidelined. Because what? I'm a woman?
Yeah, Mark is worth about the same as a flat spare wheel. Useless. But did you say months? I've honestly never seen you before.
Exactly. You've never seen me. So Tito said a lot of different numbers. And anyone who isn't Rain Man found it confusing. And as if that wasn't enough, he added a bunch of metaphors about open-mouthed hippos eating our baby's inheritance, whatever that's supposed to mean. But here's the point. The country's finances have been in a bad shape for a while now. Then the shutdown of the economy due to the Rona kicked the dog while it was down. By lending more money from the World Bank and other entities, we can boost our economy, but we will still be in quite a bit of trouble over the next few years because we still need to find ways to repay those loans. This is the World Bank and big businesses that we will owe, and they don't handle debt like Truards. They're more like Lakasha from's Good as Nice. Long story short, we're fucked. But with drastic changes in the country's spending habits, we might just make it.
Change our spending habits? Like the country must start drinking Russian beer instead of Grey Goose?
Ukhuluma ngani?
Nothing. Never mind. Sorry. Nonantsika Mbokodo, everybody! And that's this week's What What. Thanks for watching. And remember, it's better to have loved and lost than to be caught by Joop Joop on your Jola 99. Fuset!
Hey guys, thanks for watching this, whatever this thing is. Please do the right thing, subscribe, comment, like, share, and most importantly, if you haven't seen previous episodes, do yourself a favor and click right here. For sec. No, sorry guys. Scott made me say that.